Director Vought, thanks for being here. Thanks for your hard work. I don't think it's easy what you're trying to do. Before the end of this year, our country's national debt will exceed $40 trillion. We are rapidly approaching $40 trillion in debt, and this growing debt, driven by wasteful spending, is directly undercutting the government's ability to serve the American people. Currently, over $1 trillion of taxpayer dollars are being spent just to pay the interest expense on our debt. It's crowding out money that could be used to help everyday Americans. Now, median household income in America is a little over $83,000. We have to take the households of 12 million American households just to make our interest payments. And that's pretty insane. And it's not sustainable. That's a drag on our economy, a drag on our national defense, and a drag on the American dream. We owe it to every American family to first stop spending so much of their money and saddling their kids with unbelievable debt. In the last 7 years, the debt on this country has gone from, I think, 18 to 39 trillion. Secondly, we need to make sure that every dollar that we do spend is making them safer, stronger, and better off. I want to thank President Trump, I want to thank you, and I want to thank the entire administration because I know you're working hard to fix our government by cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. Protecting every taxpayer dollar from waste and fraud is one of the most important steps the government can take to tackle this it's a terrible situation. I've introduced the Federal Taxpayer Funds Protection and Clawback Act, which would allow the federal government to claw back money from fraudulent programs like what we've seen in Minnesota and California. Removing waste allows our country to operate more efficiently, properly spend American taxpayer money, and reduce our deficit spending. Unfortunately, Congress continues to fail in doing this job of being a proper steward of the national's purse by authorizing trillions in deficit spending. I walked in as the governor of Florida. Florida only balances budget once in 40 years. We said, what's our revenue going to be? That's what our expenses are not going to exceed that. I believe our country's fiscal situation is a true national emergency. It's one of the most important issues facing our nation today, and we've got to start acting like it. I've introduced the Balanced Budget Responsibility Act, which provides the president with the authority and discretion to curb wasteful government spending and balance the federal budget. I applaud the president's efforts to clean up the federal budget by removing waste, getting government out of the way, and prioritizing the strength and defense of our nation. These are important steps, but it's just the beginning. We have to do more to combat the growing debt problem. So I'm very thankful for what you're doing. Under the Biden administration, tax dollars were recklessly misallocated. It was unbelievable. Going to wasteful programs and woke policies. No accountability, no results, nothing. Caused massive inflation. This created harmful inflation that has affected lower-income Americans the most. How are Americans feeling the effect of the inflation and wasteful spending created under the Biden administration?
I think they put this administration in office to deal with it, and we have. We've gone from 9% down to 3%, and we're going to continue to see improvement as we get through the operations overseas in Iran. To be able to keep working every day for more affordable policies to drive down prices and costs for the American people. But spending is a part of that, and you've been a leader on this, Senator. We have to make sure that we drive spending down. Spending created the problem, and getting rid of spending will be a part of removing that problem for the American people.
Director, can you highlight some of OMB's efforts to identify and combat rampant waste and fraud in the government programs?
Sure. I mean, this $70 billion in non-defense cuts is a part of that process of identifying education programs that we don't think actually educate kids, of programs that we think put forward a harmful ideology to the country. Those are the types of things that we think are wasteful. We're also a participant on the task force for finding fraud. And we're going to make sure that the investments and resources are needed to be able to find it wherever possible. The Biden administration scaled down the number of investigators dramatically in Medicaid. And so, when you have that dynamic in play, we've got to make sure that we redress that issue.
Since I've been up here, you watch these bipartisan deals, and all these bipartisan deals mean more earmarks, more wasteful spending, no accountability, nothing. So Senator Johnson has talked about this a little bit. Do you think there's really any ability through the regular budgeting process to ever get the debt under control? Or is the only way we're going to be able to do this is either through eliminating the filibuster, so, we can do it on our own. Republicans can fix it on its own, or go through the reconciliation process and maybe have the whole budget process go through reconciliation.
I mean, we're right now where the Senate is, and the inability to get spending cuts to, honestly, without spending cuts, to fund the federal government through the normal appropriations process. It's making there to be an incentive to move more and more things to mandatory, and that is where we are. And I think that's the direction that things are headed.
All right. Thank you, Director.
Yep.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.